Welcome back to our fantasy football endgame community. We appreciate you checking in here every week, especially doing those mock drafts with us. If you're looking for some fresh gear for the summer, by the way, check out Bear Clothing at the link in the description below. Get 15% off all products active right now. Check that out. All right, but we're here to talk about league-winning running backs. And there's not a lot of running backs you can say that about because, well, we think every running back we take in the first couple of rounds is going to win us our league. It's just not true. Half of them, I hate to tell you, are going to bust. But it's all about value. Who's the guy that you can count on that might be that league winner? Chris, I feel like you have somebody in mind.
Yeah, I do. And if you watched our Booms, Busts, and Breakout video a couple weeks ago, you know who it is. It's Austin Eckler. I've been talking him up all off season. This is a guy who's averaged over 5 receptions per game over the last 2 years. I've talked about it. If he stays healthy, 80 catch floor, probably closer to 100 catches, quite honestly. Averaged over 19 fantasy points per game last year in the games that he played and finished with Justin Herbert. And I know the big knock on him is touchdowns. And sure, that's what keeps him from having that league-winning upside. But look, 2 years ago, he scored 11 touchdowns. And on that year when he scored 11 touchdowns, he finished as the overall RB4. We're talking about a guy who's still going late in the first round, early in the second round. And in some of your more casual home type leagues, he might even go mid-second round. So, right there, he's an amazing value. But if he does find the end zone 8 to 10 times this year, he absolutely is going to finish as a top 5 running back and will be a league winner.
And that's exactly right. It's all about value. The thing is, we're going to see a lot of drafts where running backs are going to dominate the first round. There might be even some drafts where you see every pick of the first round is going to be running back. They're not all going to be that guy who's going to take you to the ship. It's all about, again, value at that spot. Austin Eckler, he doesn't have to be a first round pick, and he can still put up the same numbers as some of those guys going in the top 5. Now, this might sound a little odd, but there's somebody who barely played last year, and when he did play, wasn't really that great. But you know what? He could be a top 5 running back. I'm talking about Joe Mixon of the Bengals. So it was kind of a lost year. Once he got hurt, we kept waiting for him to come back, and it just didn't happen. And then, of course, once Burrow was out for the season, there was really no reason to bring him back. Well, Joe Mixon is still the guy there. We know he's still a talented back who can be a 3-down back, and his competition for targets in terms of the passing game is gone. Gio Bernard now in Tampa Bay. They didn't bring anybody in really to compete with him. So it's going to be all Mixon. There's very few running backs that we can really call workhorse backs, a guy who's going to be a 3-down back. The Bengals have already said he's going to be that guy. They don't want to get him off the field if possible. He could be on there at least 75% of the time. He could get the vast majority of targets, and he's going to be the main ball carrier. What else do you want? Obviously, some issues. Is he going to be healthy? He should be fine. It wasn't a major injury he had last year, kind of a lingering thing. Like I said, he could have probably been rushed back to the end of the year if they were a playoff contender, but obviously they weren't. So the thing is with Mixon, as long as he's healthy, he's going to be on the field a ton. He's going to get a ton of touches. He averaged 20 touches per game. And then when Gio was out briefly, Mixon was averaging 27 touches per game. That could be where he lingers around every week this season. There is some risk, which is why he's not going till usually the 3rd round, maybe late 2nd round. But this is someone who absolutely could be a top 10 running back, maybe even top 5. All right, now let's move on to another possible league winner. We got to throw a rookie in there, right?
Yep, I got a rookie winning your fantasy football league this year, and it's probably not the rookie you're thinking of. Nope, it's not Najee Harris. It's Javonte Williams of the Denver Broncos. We're already hearing reports from beat writers that he could start week 1. While I don't believe that, I think it's a good sign that shows, hey, he's acclimating well. He's making his presence felt, and I think he's going to be the starter sooner rather than later. All due respect to Melvin Gordon, but he's not the spring chicken he used to be. He's not the running back he used to be. The Broncos traded up to get Javonte Williams for a reason, and it wasn't to have him sit behind Melvin Gordon for a year. I think this is going to be similar to what we saw with Jonathan Taylor last year, where maybe the first half or maybe even the first, quarter of the season, he's splitting with Melvin Gordon, but eventually he takes over that backfield. He becomes a league winner down the stretch. This guy's got all the tools of a 3-down workhorse, everything you want in an NFL running back. I know he's not running behind the greatest offensive line, but guess what? Neither is Najee Harris. So, and the difference is Najee Harris in most of your leagues is going to be a first or early second rounder, whereas Javonte Williams is a guy you can get in the 5th or 6th round. And if he puts up anything close to Jonathan Taylor numbers down the stretch, that's the makings of a league-winning running back. I think this year it will be Javonte Williams.
Yeah, it's an underwhelming running back class, by typical standards. There isn't really one guy aside from Harris that you can point to and say, he's definitely going to be, a dependable, fantasy player. It's just not that kind of year, especially with, so many weird things with 2020 and COVID and players opting out. And we just didn't see a full resume from a lot of these players. So there's obviously some risk in that sense. But you know what? Like you said, they didn't draft him just to sit him on the bench behind Gordon. And the same thing with the Niners. They didn't draft Trey Sermon to just sit there. They traded up to get him because they are looking for that one guy they can depend on. Raheem Mostert, talented, but you know what? Let's face it. Before he kind of broke out with the Niners 2 years ago, he was a journeyman, undrafted free agent. He's a guy who's already approaching 30. This is not someone who's going to be an every down back. Never has been. He's always got injury problems. Jeff Wilson is already injured. We know he's going to be out with 4 to 6 months. Might not even return until the very end of the season, if at all. And there's nobody else on the Niners that you can count on. And I think Sermon is going to be the guy. He's already looking good in OTAs. They're pointing to the fact that he can handle, both responsibilities in terms of being a pass catcher, pass protector, and of course, that runner that they're looking for. No, he doesn't have 4.3 speed. No, he's not somebody who's going to, bowl you over like a Derrick Henry, but he can kind of do it all. And that means he could have the makings of a primary ball carrier. And in this offense, in that scheme, this is somebody who could definitely propel himself into the RB1 discussion. But again, because people look at this as a committee and they don't know what to expect out of Sermon, they're leaving him for 7th, 8th round, sometimes even later. So take a chance on him. Once you get past that top 20 running back range, I'm counting on Sermon as a potential league winner with tremendous upside. I'm definitely drafting him over Mostert everywhere possible. All right, so those are our league-winning running backs for 2021. Check out our other videos talking about wide receiver, quarterback, and of course, tight end too. Thanks for watching.